Hello and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean and tonight we'll be reviewing High West American Prairie Bourbon. Let's get into it. So here's our bottle for this evening, High West American Prairie Bourbon. Now, of course, as most High West things go, this is primarily stuff from MGP, which is now Ross and Squidworth. Ross and Squidworth are where this is sourced from, which used to be MGP, which was Midwest Grain something. So in any case, this is a blend of Ross and Squidworth juice and also some other stuff from a place that nobody really knows. But in any case, the Ross and Squidworth stuff is a high rye mash bill, 21% rye, and the undisclosed mash bill that's also in this is a low rye mash bill. It's 8% rye. Now, the thing we don't know is how much of each one goes into this, and it's primarily stuff that's 2 years old, although we don't know how much is older stuff, because there is some stuff that's potentially 13 years old in here, but we don't know the quantities of any of that. So anyway, let's get into this bourbon here. It's a pretty cool bottle, and by the way, for those that want to compare at home, this is batch 20L18 or 20L18, I guess. That's probably easier to say. I mean, I always like the High West bottle. Nice cork pop. Let's go one more time there on that. Yeah, okay. Nice pop on there. Let's get some poured. Oh, that's on the table. Anyway, terrible long pour still. So I'm not expecting a whole lot because I'm guessing it is primarily the 2-year-old stuff. But let's go ahead and get to the nose and see what we get here. So right away, you know it's MGP. And you can just tell it's that high rye mash bill that's primarily in here. Lots of mint, like a sweet spearmint, which is very typical MGP. There's also that kind of anise note, a little bit of clove. It's definitely not your typical bourbon nose. There is definitely some caramel, some brown sugar, a little bit of pepper in there as well. Kind of a blueberry note. Kind of some dark fruits, maybe raisin as well. Yeah, all in all, not too bad. There is a little bit of sour oak note there as well, which is, kind of youthful notes and maybe a little hay, brassiness kind of going on. But with all that said, let's get into the taste. All right, so even though there's not actual mint in this, you do kind of get the effect of the mint. So if you've ever chewed on actual spearmint, that kind of cooling effect that you get on your tongue, that's kind of happening on the front of the palate. So you get that kind of spearmint burst right up front. Then you kind of get that anise and clove just right after that. And then it's just kind of a general sweetness, almost like a bubble gum. And then you start to get into the kind of the darker flavors, kind of mid-palate going towards the back of the palate. Then you start to get the caramel, the brown sugar, maybe just hints of pepper in there as well. Little bits of barrel char. There's not a whole lot of barrel presence on this. But let's go in for one more sip here and see what else we can pick up. So this is, very atypical MGP stuff and very much the kind of profile that High West kind of goes after. This is kind of like a toned down version of the High West Double Rye. You're definitely getting a lot of those same flavor notes for sure on the palate, even though this is, of course, it has more caramel, brown sugar going on than the rye. But if you've had MGP stuff, then you probably are going to recognize this profile right away. And if you're a fan of that, I imagine that you're going to like this. I have to say, MGP is not my favorite profile. I prefer more darker, richer notes. It doesn't have a whole lot of that going on. It's more spearmint, kind of general sweetness, maybe hints of citrus, maybe some raisin in there. I didn't get any of the blueberry on the palate. But again, if you like the MGP profile, then you're probably going to like this. But for $30, I guess you can't expect a whole lot. I would say there's probably better products out there in that price range, but it's not bad. It's just kind of a very average bourbon. So with that said, I have to give it a kind of a very average score. I'm gonna go 6 point, I don't think it's quite a 7, so I'm gonna say 6.9. 6.9 on this. Not bad by any means, but just very, very average. Nothing wrong with it, kind of light. So folks, I hope this was helpful. If it was and you enjoyed the review, please hit that like button. And folks, if you want to see more from me, you can click right here for more reviews. And as always, you can subscribe right here. Until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.